Hi, and welcome to another episode of Not Another Teacher podcast. I'm your host, Martin Malone, aka the Teacher's PT. And if you've just found this on Spotify or iTunes or anywhere like that, I would love you to find me on Instagram, which again is at the Teacher's PT, and drop me a little message on there to say you found the podcast. We are going to dive straight into the next episode of this. And this week we are looking at training and the different ways you can train and the different benefits of it and everything that way. If you haven't checked out the first episode, definitely go check it out. It's just the one before this. But yeah, we are going to focus this week, or this day rather, on pumping iron, like going to the gym, doing resistance training, and why it's really good. So I mentioned this a little bit on yesterday's podcast, but pumping iron, resistance training, it is something which I think you need to make part of your training program. Like if you love cardio, that's fine. You can have most of your workouts be cardio. If you love going to a gym class, that's fine. You can have most of your training be gym classes, but you need to have some resistance training in your training. Like you need it. And the reason for that is resistance training helps build and keep our muscles. So if you're in, your 20s, maybe even early 30s, like me, resistance training is good for building muscle. But as you get older, it's more about keeping your muscle. It's more about making sure that realistically, when you get to 80 or even 90, that you've still got enough muscle to get up off the couch without anyone else having to help you. It's about you having your independence when you retire. And as teachers, it's an incredibly tough job and you give your life to the job most of the time. And even though that is something that needs to change inside the industry and we need to have more freedom and flexibility and the ability to go out for a nice meal on a Tuesday night without feeling guilty, right now we're still in that kind of everything gets given to the job mentality and side of things. So realistically, you don't want to waste all these years and then your independence taken off you in your retirement because you can barely stand up without a helping hand. And resistance training is going to help you put that off. It's going to put it off into your 90s. It's going to hopefully put it off so far that you never need to worry about it. So, as I say, resistance training is really important. It is lifting weights, it is progressing with it, and it is a thing that you need to start doing at some point. Like, whether that is going in 3 or 4 times a week, whether that is just starting with one, whether that is getting a PT at your local gym and getting them to teach you how to do everything, or joining an online program. Like, mine is there for anyone to give them the help that they need whenever they need it. All you have to do is drop me that DM. But it's something that I'm really passionate about in that sense. And I want to try and get some of the myths, some of the scariness of lifting weights gone, so that hopefully it's going to give you that little bit of a push, that little bit of security so you can go and try it. And the first thing that we're going to focus on is the big thing. And that is how to actually go to the gym and not feel self-conscious about going. Like, this to me is one of the things that I've dealt with personally myself. And also, I have had a lot of people inside the program who've suffered the same way. And it's that insecurity of going to the gym. Now, if you're completely busy and you find going to the gym would eat into too much time right now, that's cool. Home training is fine. But if you are going to want to do home training because you want to actively avoid the gym, well then to me, that needs fixing and addressing, because you shouldn't have that anxiety around your training. And honestly, it sounds silly, but a lot of it is in our own heads. I know it was with me. I would be worried that I would look foolish in the gym, that everyone else would be laughing at me, that I didn't belong there. But ultimately, what I've found over the past 15 years while I've been training is ultimately that Everyone in the gym is in their own little bubble. Like nobody cares what you're doing unless you drop a load of dumbbells and make a big sound. No one's even going to look at what you're doing. They're going to be so focused on themselves that you can go in with a nice big pair of headphones on and almost disconnect from the whole world. That's what I do. I don't even listen to music anymore. I will listen to a podcast. Who knows? Maybe you can use this one to get you going in the gym. You can listen to this and get that security from it. But the biggest kind of thing that I ever got, which got me out of that anxiety of it, got me out of that, worrying what other people would think, was when I told a mate of mine who used to go to the gym as well. I said, I hate going to the gym. I hate it because I'm just lifting such small weights and I feel ashamed that everyone's looking at me. And he said, Martin, can I ask you a question? What weight was the person next to you lifting? And I said, I don't know. I haven't got a clue. And he said, if you don't know what they were lifting, why do you think they were focused on what you were lifting? And it almost like shattered a big thing for me. I was like, oh my God, like I can't tell you anything that anyone else did in the gym when I went yesterday. So no one's going to be looking at me either. And it really, really did help me. So hopefully that helps you too. Now, once you have braved it and you've gone in the gym, I'm going to give you a couple of hints on this to really help you understand how to train. Now, the first thing is, if you are feeling completely lost in the gym and you don't know what to do, shoot me a message on Instagram. Honest to God, it doesn't matter when you're listening to this, whether you're listening to it the day it's released or 2 years, 3 years, 10 years after it's done. Hopefully the podcast is still around in 10 years, but it doesn't matter. I will always message you back. I will always go through stuff because ultimately to me, the more people I can help, the better. But when you do go to the gym, the big thing you are going to look at is progressive overload. And that is just basically looking at getting better in one of 3 areas. 1, your form, which is how you do things. 2, the amount of reps you do, which is the amount of times you do the weightlifting. And 3, the heaviness of the weight. So 1 of 3 is always going to go up. Your form, your reps, or the weight. And when you are looking at this, that is always going to progress you, push you on, and move you forward. Now, I would love, as I said, to go through, you could do this, but ultimately, I'll help you all individually with anyone who messages in that way. I will talk you through it, I'll voice note you back, and we will make sure that you feel confident enough to go in by yourself. But yeah, that is the big one that I want to get over today. Resistance training is important. And even if you're feeling anxious about it or a little bit worried, remember when you go to that gym, everyone is in their own little bubble. Everyone is focused so much on themselves that if you take a big pair of headphones with you, go in and do your workout, no one is going to notice you. And you are going to have a nice hour just focused on you. And probably a lot of you probably can't think of the last time that even happened. I know kind of when I was teaching till I started training, I didn't really have that hour's break a day where it was just focused on me. So again, hopefully you found this useful. I would love to hear your opinions on how you found it or how you find the podcast in total. I love the story shares that we're getting on Instagram. They are absolutely class. And yeah, kind of lastly, just one more time, if you need any help with your training or you feel a bit lost or insecure, drop me that DM. I promise I will help.